Hello and welcome to this week's writing tip. Today I'll be giving a summary of the writing tips I've discussed over the past year. I thought I'd do this in case anyone would like me to explain more about any of the topics I've discussed. So just leave a comment below in the video and let me know if you do. So far I have covered the following. That anyone can write a book, as I believe everybody has a story to tell. I also talked about the fact that you need to know what you are writing, whether it be microfiction, flash fiction, short story, novella or a novel. We talked about epigraphs and how these are great for setting the tone of your book and why some people use them and others choose not to. We went over preludes, prologues and forewords and what these are and how they can help or hinder your book. We discussed the importance of having a hook to hook the reader from the very beginning. This is especially important when you're writing in the horror genre where imagery is vital. A hook to grab the reader and keep them invested in your story is very important. So I also covered the importance of direct imagery in horror. I talked about sensory details, why this is important as it gives the story flesh, depth and texturing. I also went over how to write a short story and the elements that you will need to implement to make a successful story. Then I talked about having a routine when it comes to writing, finding the best time to write, how to handle rejection. Also, we discussed networking with other authors and why this is so important, as feedback is a vital element that writers need, as other people who are not so close to the book can probably spot mistakes and inconsistencies that you may not be able to see yourself. I talked about how imperative it is to read the guidelines properly before you submit your story to a publisher, where I briefly go over the formatting. I discussed what beta readers, ARC and sensitivity readers are and how this can be an important part in the process and having others give you feedback on your writing project. I discussed the 7-point story structure. Also the importance of character building in your story. I talked about some ways to overcome writer's block. I went over the importance of creating a living document so you don't lose track of your achievements, and this all adds to your CV or portfolio. I discussed how writing can help the writer to express themselves and can be therapeutic for your mental health. I gave you a writing exercise to do to get your writing juices flowing. I discussed how to write authentic dialogue into your story. I went over how to begin your writing career with some examples from my own experiences. I talked about the difference between an autobiography and a biography, as I was quite surprised to find out that people do get these mixed up. I discussed how imperative it is to remain true to yourself as a writer, and that is important to stay true to your vision and not be drawn into the bandwagons that are trying to dilute the horror genre, if that is the genre you're writing in. I went over what fan fiction is and some examples of fan fiction. I also discussed some handy Word document tools that have helped me in my writing journey. I talked about crowdfunding, what it is and how this can help you with your projects. Then I talked about how to draft a book proposal. Also how not to write a novel, how not to structure a novel, mistakes, plot fails to avoid. So that's just a quick summary of the discussion points thus far. I will continue to cover other elements that I think are important for you as a new, existing or coming back into the writing world. The next few tips will be going a bit more in depth, so stay tuned for those coming up shortly. Other than that, that's that for now, and until next time, stay safe out there, and bye for now.